The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Time to catch up with an absolute superstar. So we're talking about the woman, the first ever winner of Alone Australia. First female to win it anywhere in the world?
Actually,
Second is
no.
two.
The second.
Second.
I thought I was going to be the first. Well, no, I hoped I would be the first.
Yes.
No woman had won it before I went out. And then I think just
while you were
before-
there.
just timing.
So the problem was you lasted too long in the wilderness. 67 days alone in the wilderness in Tasmania. She's written a book called We Are Stars. Gina Chick, welcome.
It's so lovely to be here.
Good to see you, Gina.
Your energy is beautiful.
You're an earth mother.
You are.
Like you literally are.
It's probably the bare feet.
How
Yeah.
can someone so soft survive in something so hard?
Yeah, are you saying I'm fat?
No, but you were saying, like Nathan was saying, you thrived.
Yeah, no,
in the
I
wilderness.
did. And the really interesting thing, I think, about my win of Alone Australia isn't that I won, although it is, as a postmenopausal woman, you know, and a lot of what was going on out there. But it's actually how I won, because I won by breaking the game. Because the game is suffering, isn't it? That's what we want.
But also,
But
like,
you
it's
didn't.
about the contestants are trying to conquer nature.
and
It feels
beat
like,
and-
whereas, yes, that's right, and be the sort of master of the domain. Whereas
Exactly.
you literally went in to be at one with it.
You merged with the tree.
Yeah.
I did. I actually did. And because of that, I didn't suffer.
Yes.
Because I wasn't trying to beat nature.
So it was like you gave it a handshake and said, let's
Yes.
get along.
Absolutely, and it took my hand back and said, okay. And so this is going to sound incredibly hippie, but you know,
I love
I have
it. I've got a dream catcher. It's the one.
I have my moments. Whenever I needed anything, I would go out to the lake, and I'd go, all right, Big Mama, I know you've got me here to tell a story. I can't tell it if I'm not here, and I'm not going to be here if I can't get something to eat. I'm going to need some food. And then doink, here's a fish. Doink, doink, doink,
By
doink.
the end, were little birds coming and carrying dressing you in the morning?
Yeah, well, pretty
No,
much.
that became food.
I mean, the wallaby that
wallaby
turned up
story.
at exactly the right time that
Yeah.
you needed some protein,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And literally
Crawled into a bun.
sat next to you.
Yeah.
Dipped itself
That's
in
an
gravy.
example of that.
Huge.
Yeah. So I needed an animal, and the only way we were allowed to take an animal was if we caught it live, and that was the rules. And I'm not a trapper; I don't know how to do that. And so I same. Okay, Big Mama, I'm going to need an animal. And I went out and had a pee and sat on a log afterwards and looked at the moon and basically was procrastinating about going back to my incredibly uncomfortable bed.
Yeah.
And then my body jumped and landed on this thing before, and I caught up when
so
I
you weren't
landed.
even knowing what you're doing, really.
No, well, I used to go hunting with my dingo, so I have, to be fair, I have jumped on a lot of animals that I then had to.
So was Natalie.
persuade.
I used to go hunting.
Different
I used to go
scenario.
hunting with my dingo.
I know. That was
That was a
something we
sentence that
might
just
need
came
to
out
come
of
back
Gina's
to.
mouth.
Gina, it is such amazing to have you. It was great to speak to you last time we spoke to you, but I wanted to know, when you got out of that 67 days in the wilderness, what did you do? Did you wash your hair first? Did you have a shower?
Yeah, presumably they shove you in a hotel at that point.
And was it a good
Actually-
feeling, or you didn't care for it?
No, actually, there's a really amazing bit of footage which I have on my Instagram of my first meal.
Okay.
And I'm in the possum coat. I'm filthy.
Yes.
I'm just black. My hair's everywhere.
Got wombat in the teeth.
And well, no, they gave me, like, they do this sort of refeeding program so you don't have a heart attack
yes.
and die. So it's these meals that they give you, and it was like a little TV dinner of lasagna. Now all I've eaten is worms, fish sperm, eels, fish, and wallaby, bugs, beetles, lizards.
Yes.
And now they give me cheese.
This has gone through you, hasn't it?
No.
Oh, it didn't happen?
No, but I started eating it, and it was like every cell in my
Yes.
body just
Oh, my
started doing this.
God.
The video is hilarious. It is so funny because you get live my reaction
Oh my God,
to
you don't-
the
you don't-
first food.
What a missing opportunity for whoever made that microwave meal.
Yes.
For an ad. She's like buzzing from a lasagna.
Did you want for technology when you got out, like making phone calls, looking at what's going
no,
on?
that was weird as well. So once I got out, I then had to be driven from one end of from Western Tassie through to the other side to Hobart to end up getting out. And the guy who was driving the car, he was like, "Right, let me tell you all about the politics," and he had the radio on, and
And
I'm
you're like,
no, I ended up winding down the window and sticking my head out for
Like a
12
Labrador.
hours.
Did you?
Yeah, just to get away from just being inside a car. My first night in a house, I slept outside because I couldn't. It was just too weird. But the first shower, oh my God,
that would have been
the
a
water
religious
turned
experience.
black.
Yeah.
And and it was so funny because I saw myself naked for the first time,
Right.
and I looked.
I've never seen myself naked.
Oh, wow. And I looked a bit different because I'd put on 19 kilos on purpose to go out there. And then I lost 24. So the last time I'd seen myself, I was, I was basically like an elephant seal. And then I came back and I was all svelte. But I was black. I was black my hands were black, but my body was pretty much white. Well, comparatively, because it was so weird.
That's crazy.
And then I washed it, and then all of a sudden I was just pink everywhere.
Yeah.
So, Gina, I know that some people they have to do really challenging things. They do this thing, a mantra where they go, you just have to make it through 10 seconds.
Yes.
Another 10 seconds, another 10 seconds, then you reset, another 10 seconds. You were at one with nature and, you made an agreement with it. But was there a time during your time where it was that I need to get through the next 10 seconds?
Actually, no.
So not even with temperature, nothing like
so
that?
there's this really interesting thing that I realised when I was out there is that survival is about the ability to be uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
And we live in a culture that pathologises discomfort.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as soon as we're uncomfortable, we've got a million things to distract us.
Yeah,
we can
we
pick up
do.
a phone, we can pick up a diary, we can pick up whatever our addiction of choice is, we can doom scroll, we can, get laid, whatever it is. The thing is that is the way we distract ourselves, and so we never learn how to be uncomfortable, and therefore we suffer because we think it's wrong. But what I realised out there is that if you can turn down the volume of that discomfort, go, is it going to kill me? No, I'm just cold and I'm wet, but that's going to end, and then it's not suffering because I'm just like, well, there's also this
there's
beautiful
a level of
day.
acceptance.
I've
This is
got
just my body reacting.
and I've got a platypus saying hello, and I've made friends with a couple of ducks, and look, I've just caught a fish, and actually it's beautiful with the reflections on the lake, and I'm uncomfortable, but it's not everything. And actually that's one of the things in the book that I've written, We Are the Stars, is like, the book isn't about alone. The book is about everything that's happened in my life to get me to the point where I could go out there and thrive for 67 days. And one of those things is learning how to be uncomfortable and learn from it, so that instead of my world shrinking by going, I'm uncomfortable, it gets
and trying to
smaller.
stop it. Yeah,
Now,
it's like embracing that.
by learning how to be uncomfortable in various life events, and there are many, what I learned was how to actually make my world bigger and develop my internal authority and my own skills of resilience so that I could be through anything. And so,
Ned Brockman has a similar philosophy about discomfort. Yeah.
Well,
It's being comfortable being comfortable.
Being
But
uncomfortable.
you know what, Sean?
Yeah.
Because I think you would love to do some challenge like this. But then on the other sense, to me, how long are you there for? How many days?
67.
We hate waiting. For anything. Like waiting for anything. Like, to me, that is like over 2 months of waiting.
Yeah.
That would do my head in. The platypus you said hello to.
Yeah.
If that crawled up on that day that you wanted food, you would have eaten a platypus?
No.
Okay, yeah, right.
No, it was my friend.
Okay, because
Don't eat your friends, Nathan. Don't eat your friends.
Food.
You don't eat them.
Friends are not food.
You can have a nibble.
Gina, I wanted to, you showed us earlier on, actually, some of the people who have written forwards, I guess, to your book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give us the name of one of them. That was a really good friend of yours.
It's pretty good.
Hugh Jackman.
Oh, whatever.
So how do you know Hugh?
We met first day of uni 37
Oh, really?
years ago. Yeah,
What?
we've been mates forever.
Is he a camper?
Would he be able to be out in the wild
no,
and pitch a
you're
tent and do all that
Yeah.
stuff?
He can pitch a tent. He is. I get the same feeling from him. Like it's warmth. It's
Yeah,
love. Yeah. That's
Good,
great.
good human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think Natalie, we could go all right because we've been single for a while.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So the alone thing.
The alone
We got the
time,
alone
yeah.
bit sorted.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
You know, I feel the heat.
Yeah. So I've got this book, We Are the Stars.
Yeah,
you
and
on
I'm
a
on
tour?
this huge tour as well. So it's the biggest book tour Simon & Schuster, my publisher,
that
has
right?
ever done.
Really?
Yeah. And so I've got 36 events all over the country, and it's amazing
How hard
because
is it to write
we have an hour in conversation, and and I tell various stories from the book, and there's a lot in here. I had a childhood that's like
very non-conventional.
rescuing animals and chewing up seed and spitting it into birds' mouth, and then falling in love with a con man when I was in my 20s and completely crashing my life. Oh my goodness! And then
How much of his life did it take from you, the con man? How many years?
probably 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many people are on that.
But then, falling in love with this amazing wild guy that I meet in a wilderness survival school and bringing him home. I say he followed me home, so I kept him.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, having breast cancer when I was pregnant and then losing my daughter, but in the process finding intense joy and love of life.
Yeah.
And so
Your story is extraordinary.
In these events, we go through this roller coaster, but at the end, we sing. I get everybody singing.
Oh, how gorgeous.
3-part harmony. People who've never sung and go, I can't sing. And people come out afterwards going, oh my goodness, they're just in love. And one of the things I love about this tour, and it's so amazing, it's a book tour, but by the end, it's like this antidote to all of the division and all of the horrible stuff that's going on. We get to remember that underneath it all, we are all human. Underneath our stories, we all bleed red.
Yeah,
and
we're all connected.
Because I'm making a stand for connection in every single thing I do, that's how I could win alone.
Yeah.
That's how every single person I meet, I say hi and connect. And for me, there's this beautiful wisdom in our hunter-gatherer DNA. It's how our human species survived for 350,000 years, is with tools of connection. And everything that I see that's broken in the world is a wound of connection. So I can't save the world, but I can actually save mine.
This is my thing. I feel like people like you, more people like you, should be in positions of power.
Well,
because I feel like it needs that softness, it needs that connection.
But to be able to have any power in the structures of power, someone like me would break. But I can stand up in front of 450 or 500 or 600 people, and at the end, they are going to have hope and they're going to have faith in a better world.
What's extraordinary about you is that the winning of Alone is probably the least interesting part of your story, but it's what has catapulted you out there to share your story and your message.
And what I love it as well is, like, we've met you now, we feel your softness, we feel your warmth. When Alone's happening, right at the start, people would have thought that Gina wouldn't have had a chance. Because you look at the guys with the ad, you know what I mean? You look at that. And then, but it's amazing.
But this is the thing, connection, it might not look spectacular, but it's a superpower and it's one we all have. And what my experience is, it doesn't take much for us to remember. Like here we all are now talking and sitting, and we could not be on the radio. We could just be in a lounge room.
Yeah, that's right.
And more swearing.
There is that. But the connection that's alive in us wants to be. It's like a flower will go towards the light if the light is there. And I think it's, especially at the moment, it's actually really important to remember that we all have roots that can connect. We all have hearts that can understand each other. And every little tiny step that we can take to do that, like that can be our thing. And it might be just going out in the garden, or it might be going out for a walk, or it might be reading a book called We Are the Stars.
Why wouldn't you?
Are your events in Perth sold out?
I think tonight's in Mount Lawley, we still have some room. They've said that they can actually make some more space.
Okay.
So Mount Lawley tonight, We Are the Stars, the author tour. I really don't know. But if you look at that,
we'll get
if you Google Gina Chick Perth, the events will come up. So look, and the book We Are the Stars, obviously an amazing Christmas gift, just in time to wrap that up for everybody in your life.
It'd be great for Labor Day gifts as well. An Easter gift.
All the gifts.
Gina, thank you so much for coming in. You're an absolute joy to meet. And if people want to, your Australian story, find that on ABC iView. That was an extraordinary show.
Also, the Imperfects podcast is pretty good as well.
I've heard that.
Yeah, that one was a good one. But there's lots of things. You can check out my socials. There's all sorts of fabulous things on there.
It's like I've just been interviewing a rainbow.
I know. Tonight at the Perth College Theatre in Mount Lawley.
There you go.
It's a bargain. It's seriously cheap. So, Google Gina Chick.
You just have to take her in an animal you found.
Or both at Street Books are the organiser of that event. So, yes, Gina, thank you so much. You're a joy. You're welcome back anytime. We would love to have you back again.
Thanks so much for having me.
The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Of course, we're well aware that there was a US election and the result, I think it was overwhelming and shocked a few people about how overwhelming it was.
Less than half the country is very, very shocked and devastated today.
Let's cross to LA and catch up with Melinda Taylor, who lives there. Good morning, Melinda.
Good morning.
Hi, Melinda.
Now, Melinda, we watched this from afar, and it seems to be like this weird Netflix show where one guy's up there saying whatever he wants and gets away with it.
Yes,
and
a
there's another
convicted
girl
felon as well.
And then there's a woman going up there, and it's like, oh, whether will a woman win? And then there's like all the circus that was around it. What's it like being there for that?
It's crazy because Trump started running again in 2022. So it's been 2 years of this. And it's gotten crazier and crazier as it went on. I mean, there was an assassination attempt.
Yeah.
There was a change of candidates. There was another assassination attempt. There's, spewing racist, hateful rhetoric at rallies with thousands of people. And he won more than half the country.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wild. It's like I've seen a meme online. Somebody said, I'm watching the season finale or the series finale of the United States of America.
Oh.
That's how it feels.
Wow.
Melinda, would you say then, you just mentioned the racist rhetoric, which we've heard him go on about the borders, right? And he's really pinpointed different
eating dogs,
ethnic groups
cats.
about that kind of stuff. Yes, Nathan's right. So you're saying that the rest of the nation who voted him overwhelmingly in, it's a racist bunch living in the States?
I think the core group of his MAGA people fall under that category. I think what really happened is there's your hardcore Democrats and your hardcore MAGA Republicans, and then there's the middle.
Yeah.
And I think the middle just appreciated his message on the economy and the border more.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I don't necessarily think everybody in that group follows the same ideology or cares for his bombastic personality.
That's true.
But they went that direction. And so it's hard not to pigeonhole them all. But I have to remember that we're all individuals.
Yep.
And we all have our views and feelings.
And this is democracy
I'm feeling pretty bad today, personally.
Yeah.
What got me yesterday, and I rang my mum and dad once I found out that Trump won, and I said, and what gets me is, Melinda, your country, right, can decide the fate of the world. America is such a powerful place, and that is not that is the people of America. Whatever's happening there will bleed out to the rest of the world because there'll be decisions made by the person that's been put in power. And that just shocked me. And I know that this is just the state of the world, but it's such a responsibility that Americans have because you are at the top, So how are you feeling, though? Because obviously you voted for Kamala. How are you feeling?
I did. I am feeling pretty dejected. There's a part of me that's horribly angry at the 70 million people that voted for Donald Trump, given all that we know about him factually. There's a sense of betrayal, I would say, by my fellow citizens. But I also understand that I cannot live with those feelings for another 4 years. I have to find a way to hope for the best, but it's pretty bleak today because they also won the Senate and they're about to win the House, which means he has complete and utter control over everything.
Wow.
The most important of which is the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Because we have 2 retirement age justices. If they go
he's going to stack it in his favour again.
You're further in his favour,
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Melinda, we're going to have to see what happens there. But do you see any world where this is working? Because you just made mention that you have to make sure that you remember that there is a lot of people who are different to you. They have different representation, different thoughts.
But do I see if there's any way of this working?
Yeah.
Honestly, I honestly don't.
Do you know,
And
but did it not work before
time.
to a degree? Like it got to a point at the end where, the old bloke was just saying shit left, right and centre, for want of a better term.
Talking about Joe Biden?
No, I'm saying about when Donald was...
Oh, when he was the president last time.
And he lost fair, he says not fair and square, but it was a bit of an even race.
Yeah.
You had a person in the president who's Joe Biden who was pathetic and was probably one of the worst we've seen. So do you see any way this could go forward and be...
Positive?
I don't know if positive is the right word, but work. Maybe work, Nate.
Could it work? I mean, it certainly could if he's willing to let go of some of his ego. which I don't think is in his character.
Yeah.
Well, this whole thing was built on ego. He was angry that he was lost, and he said
absolutely.
he believed factually that he was cheated.
Yeah.
So the thing I suppose why I never aligned with him is I don't like anyone standing on the necks of anyone else, and women's bodies.
The erosion of women's rights
bodies,
is a concern.
Transgender people. Even I do know every country's got a problem with immigration, but just the way you speak about immigration, I don't feel there was no softness in your voice,
no compassion.
There's no empathy about what these people are going through to make them do that. And I understand immigration's a tough one, but that's for me. I don't think Kamala was doing that, and that side doesn't stand on people to get ahead.
But they were ineffective as a government.
Yeah, this is just me. This is just me. And no matter what political stuff's going on, I think if you're harming someone else, if you're putting somebody else down,
from a humanistic
if
point of view.
If you're having a rally where you've got guest speakers coming up there, and because he never condemned what that comedian said about Puerto Rico being an island of junk, that's there as hate. And then after you win, you stand up and say, "Let's bring the country together." What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You're just making everyone go at each other.
Actively divided it.
Anyway, so that's where I can't stand on it. Even though I'm sure some of his business acumen is probably could be needed. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well,
but then again, he's a failed businessman.
Well, you know, I think we've got to remember that it was overwhelming. That
But I'm just saying what I think.
You're absolutely entitled to what
I thought the world was going to get to a more enlightened place. Instead, I feel like we are regressing and we're taking rights away from people, and I think that's gross.
Is that how it feels to you, Melinda, as somebody that lives there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I said to my husband the one day, this is I'm a more progressive Democrat. I believe in a lot of social programs and things like that. And I feel like they're a regressive party where they want to take us back to the good old days where the women were barefoot and pregnant. Yeah. There was no birth control or abortion. White America was where to be.
Yeah, the good old days weren't that good for a lot of people.
But you're just saying, I mean, no one's saying that's going to happen. That's I think you've got to find some middle ground.
They are talking about the erosion of women's rights, though, Sean, and the access to birth control.
Saying about that? No one's voting for that.
Republicans. They might not have voted for that, but if the people on that side are doing that, the Republicans have actively said that they've.
Which Republicans?
It doesn't matter. They're in charge.
Mate,
so if the Republicans are in charge, the Supreme Court has been supporting that. They overturned Roe versus Wade, Sean.
But that was Texas taking on that was Texas taking on them at all, and everyone has a chance.
They overturned Roe versus Wade, Sean.
They get an opportunity to vote as each state.
Yeah, because he stacked the Supreme Court with ultra conservatives.
It seems like I'm pushing one way to you guys, but I feel that. There's great.
No, but and you know what? It doesn't impact you because an erosion of women's rights.
I would never vote for that. It doesn't. I would never vote for that in a million years.
But then what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like this is the thing. For me, if I had a daughter, I don't have a daughter.
I do.
Yeah, but I don't need a daughter. Once you say that you are going to be stuffing around whether a woman can have an abortion or not, if she has to have a baby through rape,
whether she can
put her life at risk as going down an alleyway.
Sean, it's happening, Sean. It's happening.
It's like you don't believe it unless you hear them right from your mouth.
Let's ask Melinda. Melinda, you live there. This is happening, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, there was just a story in the news that I came across about a teenager in Texas who went to 3 different hospitals while she was pregnant looking for care, and they couldn't care for her because if they did something that caused the fetal heartbeat to stop, they would be arrested. The doctors.
Yeah.
I totally disagree with Texas and their stance.
But it doesn't matter. That's America. It's happening. And if it happens there, it can happen in any other state as well. And it is happening in other states.
It's not the Middle East.
It is happening in other states. Melinda, we appreciate your time. We know it's not the easiest thing for you to talk about.
I'm glad you guys are as passionate as I am.
Yeah.
Well, Melinda. I hope that the next 4 years is okay, and if not, just get a flight to Australia, sweetheart. We'll get your job. It'll be fine.
Thanks, Melinda.
Thanks, Melinda.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.